Hiya, my name's Jimmy Furness and I'm the Artistic Director of Not Too Tame. Not Too Tame are an award-winning theatre company that specify in immersive and site-specific work, and we tend to perform in non-traditional theatre spaces, so that means pubs, social clubs and live gig venues where you see bands or performers. So how would I describe site-specific and immersive theatre? They're two different aspects of work, really. Site-specific means that you can only perform, or the show, can only really be performed, or the whole story that's involved in the show can be told in that space. So, for example, all the characters that so when we tell a story of a certain play, it's like Early Doors was our first play, really, that we set in a pub. And it was site-specific because we used the whole of the pub. You know, we performed everywhere. There wasn't a stage. We performed from behind the bar, from people coming out of the toilets, people at the fruit machines, people on the, singer-songwriters or quiz people at where the microphone is. And all of the actors' characters this is where it goes into part of the immersive. So site-specific means it's got to be set in that place. That story couldn't be told in a cafe. So Early Doors couldn't be told in a cafe or performed in a cafe because all of the storylines and all of the characters belong in that space. It's specific to that space. In the same way that if you set something in a cafe or a school or a doctor's surgery, you'd want to take that whole world and put them and have all those characters from that site, from that found space. That's what you call something. Isn't a theatre. So it's a non-traditional theatre space or a found space, and you want to perform it in that space. Okay, and then the immersive aspect is that the audience are taken into the show, so that the show really exists and would exist whether the audience come in or not, like it would always happen. And so the level of immersion or immersive theatre is that people feel like the performance happens all around them. Perhaps they get moved around, perhaps that they can walk in, say if it's in a cafe, that a person might come in and they can meet characters as the door opens or serves them at the till, and then another character might come in after the audience have already come in. They might be in the queue next year. So all the immersive makes you feel like you're immersed in the world, that everything is happening around you, and maybe there's different aspects of senses in terms of maybe you get given some cake, maybe that's part of the menu, or maybe the drink, like it's an experience. You're experience the theatre rather than being told it, just being straight on, and or you watching it. You get to have a 360 degree experience. If someone hadn't been to some site-specific or immersive theatre before, then actually it would be, there's not, I'd like to say there's not that much of it online, because maybe if you've done some VR stuff, maybe virtual reality there's an aspect of that that immerses you in, because everywhere you turn, you're in part of this world. But there, I would say that this is something that has to be physically experienced. But like a gig, if you've ever been to a concert, there's that aspect of it, because that's the whole experience of the event. Yeah, you've got the performers, but you've got the merchandise stand where you can wear things that make you feel part of it or take home, or there's the bar at the back or the cafe where you can get snacks and drinks. And but if you wanted to look at other companies, there's a company called Punch Drunk. There's a company that a bit more experienced rather than theatre, but they're called Secret Cinema, and they basically recreate the whole world of a film or a TV show, like Stranger Things, and they sort of have all the characters and they recreate scenes all around you and around. It's exciting. I really like that type of stuff. Punch Drunk, Secret Cinema, and also Les Enfants Terribles. You've got to say it in a French accent. So Les Enfants Terribles. You can look at them, but they're three really good companies who do similar type of work, I think. Yeah, check them out. Question number 4. What made us create work in this way? We started making work in this way because my background was never theatre. My family didn't go to theatre. I went to a couple of pantomimes as a kid, and I always wanted to make work for people who were like me. And I'd been brought up in outside pubs, you know, or rugby fields, or my dad was a rugby player, my mum was a hairdresser, so we'd spend a lot of time with friends outside the pubs or in them, or social clubs where we go for family days, and I really like those spaces, and and I wanted to tell stories from people like me, who grew up on estates in the northwest or from working class families, and I wanted to show those type of people with jobs, or that were unemployed, or that were from certain similar to my parents or me, or my people I knew, my family, my cousins, my aunties, and I thought the best way to do that would be to go into these spaces. And also these spaces, they're good at building up relationships. So, you know, if you go and put a show on in a cafe or in a pub, they might not normally have a very busy night on a Wednesday or a Saturday, and so you can go in and create something that happens in that space, and you can invite people to, and then different people from different, you know, paths of life can go and have a night out together, and I really like that, this idea that bringing people together, so and telling those type of stories, so that you can hear your voice and see your stories, and people like you go through life experiences and challenges that you might have had to go through or may have to go through in the future. And it's yeah, there's something nice about that makes you feel like you're not alone, and that your opinion matters, and that your value, that your say on it matters, because it does. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Other people have had to go through something similar, and it's nice. That's what theatre's great. It makes you feel like you're part of something much bigger, and you're not alone. And I like that. And I also like theatre doesn't have to be boring. You could throw a party.